Just I update it with the wrong firmware. Next one. We're good. Check, 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 check. Well, we can go with that. Not that. Okay, let's see. Do we have? No, we don't. 1 second. Let's go with this. Reload. Good. Good, 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 good. Not that. Not that, not that, not that, not that, not that. Well, one second here. Huh. Let's see. It used to be input 5. So where did it go? No, 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 no. Well, I've lost it. Huh. Huh, he says. Huh. So let's use one. Gotta change that. Bear with me here. Just getting started, you would think. Let's go with 3. Can we do that? 3. 3 is output. 3 needs to be 1. That's better. It's not what it should be, but it's better than it was. All right, let's see how we're doing here. Welcome, welcome. Check, check, check. Testing audio here. Let's see. Let's take that one off. Boom, taking that one off. And using the Hollyland again today. It's kind of a long-term trial with that. You can hear me. Thank you, Xavier. Welcome. Glad you are here. And let's catch up with you guys. Yeah, kind of a long-term test of the, hold on. What do we got going here? Send. It's not sending. That's interesting. What about this one? Send. Not sending on that one. Interesting. I'm trying to send comments up here, and they are not sending. Oh, because they're going to the wrong one. Lower third. No, 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 no. This should be pre-show. Let's try again. Refresh title. Send. No. Still not working. Isn't that interesting? It's not interesting. It's frightening because it's not working. Pre-show graphic text is this right here, and it should change that comment, but it's not. Let's go back there. Yeah, there we are. Was it just Oh, it shows it as sent, but it doesn't show it as, what I'm looking at right here is this. This is your comments, and I can click on the comment and send it, and it puts a little green dot over here at the corner, but it's not sending it. If it is sending it, it's not sending it where I think it's sending it. So let's go back here, and I'll let you guys look over my shoulder here while I'm trying to do this, because what I want to find out is this what I think it is? So we'll go to layers. This is 48 social 18. Okay. So if we bring in vMix social right there, we want to go to 48 social 18 honeybees, honey beads. Okay, and we'll refresh the title. There we go. Now we got it. Whoops, don't close social. All right, now we're there. Now we're there. I just outsmarted myself. So welcome. Glad you guys are here. Gunnar says he's not 100% listening today because there's a championship soccer game on. It's all right. I'm good with that. Ken is watching from warm California. The town of Loomis is watching from regular California. Tommy's confused as usual. He said, I thought voice switching is already a done deal with the PTC Optics camera. Ah, you are confused. PTC Optics does not offer an auto switching option on the camera because the camera doesn't process audio. I mean, it can, but it's not an option there. So no, this is different. This is different. How is this different? This is different because we're using the audio from the microphones, and I have several different microphones set up here to trigger an input. Could be anything, but in our case, it's a camera being sent to program output. So the screen that you're seeing right now with the what do you call that thing? With your comment on it. I'm as bad as Biden. That that screen can be switched to by talking into a particular microphone, and we'll get to that. We will get to that. I have a microphone set up right here. In fact, I should bring it into the camera view, although you can't really see it unless we put something behind it because everything's black behind it. So we'll just set it aside for now. That's been our regular mic over the years. We're using the Hollyland Lark, and I like that. I obviously don't want to wear it into the restroom by accident, and provide all sorts of extra entertainment. But yeah, it's and Tommy, vMix will do this already to a very basic extent. You can set up a trigger, and when your audio reaches a certain level, it will switch to whatever input you designate. But it won't do much more than that. For example, if two people start talking at the same time on two different microphones, it doesn't know what to do. It'll pick one, I guess. It also doesn't have kind of a duration setting for how long you stay on that one before you switch, and some of the stuff that we'll be talking about in the show today. I'm a little lost without my normal setup. I'm not sure what I did with it. What did I do with this? Why is the clock not showing right down there where it should be showing? Let's see if we can find that out. So let's switch back here real quick. And we'll bring up the pre-show format, and the clock, was disabled. There it is right there. That's what we wanted. We were missing that clock. And let's see if we've got, we don't care about the one on the post show. So there we go. Not sure why that got the way it did. But yeah, Tommy, in all honesty, sometimes it confuses me too. Sometimes I get myself in a place where I think I'm somewhere else and I'm not. And it happens to the best of us. You know, we can get some advice, we can get some bad advice. I had somebody call me a few minutes ago and said, somebody suggested that I completely reroute my audio as a way to improve the quality of the audio. And I'm familiar with their setup, and the routing of their audio is not what's causing them a quality problem. The quality problem starts at the mixer. So we can get advice, which is not always good advice. Yeah. This can be a game changer. The caveat with all this is that each one of your audio sources has to be a separate and distinct source, however that can be happening. And so that's kind of what we'll be doing today. Yeah, I'm with you. Hello, Michael. Glad to have you. Well, let's get this show started, because it looks like the timer has told us that we should have started 25 seconds ago. So we're going to press the purple button on our new X-Keys XBE95, which, as you can see, hasn't been any more modified since 2 weeks ago. But nevertheless, let's go. About that, it works again. So welcome to Streaming Idiots. Today, well, not today, today's July 10th, 2024. On July 12th, 2024, we will be celebrating our 12-year anniversary of continuous live streaming shows about live streaming shows. July 12th, 2012 was our very first show. And hat tip and salute to Amnon for being the guinea pig, the guest for the very, very first show. Did a great job. We had a good time chatting. You know, and it was, back then it was cutting edge stuff. We were bringing in his video over Skype and routing audio all sorts of different places to get his audio in, and so that he could hear us. It was a lot of fun. Those were the bad old days when you know, you just had to take something that was intended for this purpose and convert it to that purpose in order to get it to work. Those were fun days. So if you happen to have seen that very, very first show, July 12th, 2012, my condolences. It was awful. I mean, not that today's stuff is any better, but you know, we've got lots of improvements in gear that help. We've got better cameras, we've got better capture cards, we've got better software. Back then we were using VidBlaster, and we've improved that to vMix, improved it like 1,000 times. And so, you know, better microphones, better everything, and better knowledge. We, the corporate we, yes, all of us, we are smarter than we were 12 years ago. We know more. So there you go. And Tommy is saying the first show he saw was with Alan Bunt, and I think that was the second show. Yeah, in fact, I was talking to Al just yesterday. Yep, we are gonna do, we meaning me, are gonna do a series, probably starting in a couple of 3 weeks, on live streaming all-stars. Yep. And these are people that I've worked with over the years in one capacity or another who are just doing great stuff. You know, they're kind of doing it in their little part of the world. They're doing what they want to do, what they need to do, and there's not a lot of fanfare about it, but their tools and the way they're using their tools, I think, are going to be really interesting. Anyway, that's that. So look for that coming up soon, this summer for sure. We'll have to get a schedule out when we're closer to making that decision. I'm working with a client at a large television station out in Texas, and they asked for some systems, some vMix PC systems that would automatically follow whoever was speaking in a multi-speaker environment, specifically a radio station. You've got a guest, or excuse me, you've got a host and a co-host, and sometimes a guest. So that's 3, could be more. And one of their requirements was that we be able to switch cameras automatically in that. So vMix will do that by inherently. It's by its very nature. It's a trigger in vMix that will trigger something to happen, like cut to a camera, based on a certain volume level of a particular audio source. And it's very basic, but it works great for what it does. It will switch cameras based on the audio source. It doesn't know what to do when 2 people speak at the same time. And if there's silence, it just stays where it is. Anyway, it's pretty interesting, pretty fun, and it's free, and it's built into vMix, and you can use it anytime you want. It's a trigger. It's an audio trigger. But for folks that have a more professional need, like a TV station, radio station, we were using something called Virtual Video Director. And Virtual Video Director is done by an outfit in, well, it's really kind of funny because they're done by an outfit in New Zealand, which is kind of like a backdoor neighbor to what do you call that place? Australia, where the vMix people live. And so I wanted to, since we were working with that yesterday, and I'm scrolling through looking for something, but I'm not finding it. Since I was working with that yesterday, I thought I'd bring that to you guys today. We did demo this maybe 3 years ago. It wasn't quite as well developed as it is now. And so I wanted to bring it back to you and show it to you again because it's pretty sweet. And if you or if someone you know is wanting to do this kind of situation, you can do it automatically. And so let me just, let's see, where shall we start? Let's start with the interface for the software. And so that's going to be a desktop capture right here. Pay no attention to the other stuff on the desktop. In fact, let's just move that over there so it's out of the way. And what we've got here is Virtual Video Director by Noise Production Limited. This is version 5.0.213, and this is the latest, greatest version. Version 5 had a lot of major updates in it. I think not the least of which, if you're in the radio business, being able to tap into your Wheatstone audio system, and that's pretty cool. And so what you see in front of you is, what is it that you see in front of you? Let me bear with me just a second. I just hate being out of the picture. So I got to put myself in here somewhere. So let's just go here for a second. Let's go here for a second. There we go. And then we'll park me down here in the corner and crop me a little bit on the left. Well, I thought we were cropping me on the left, but I guess we didn't. Interesting. Okay, we'll worry about that later. So right up here is the Virtual Video Director. And let's make sure we've got this on sharpen. we do, and let's for the fun of it, let's just blow the whole thing up so that it's a little bit bigger and you can see it a little bit better. There we go. Don't worry about me not being in the picture. I won't worry about it if you won't worry about it. So what we've got here, as you can see, we've got 5 different bars. The top 2 bars represent you can see 2 different audio sources. One is a desktop mic, one is a Hollyland mic, and they're not doing anything right now. They're turned off. The T1 right here is a trigger to trigger a motion to any one of a number of vMix. Let's see, we'll do it right here. There we go. So we can go up to 32 vMix inputs, the first 32 inputs in vMix. Now my production today is using 96, so obviously I had to move some things around in order to make them available here. So I've got my desktop mic, which is my mic here on the desk, hence we call it the desktop mic, and then the Hollyland mic, which is the essentially the lav. But those 2 are showing audio, active audio right now. And then the 3 bars below down here are triggers for what happens when, well, this is called overview, this is called silence, and this is called fixed time. And let me, and we'll get into some of these other little guys in just a second. But let me just say that we can set an overview trigger for a particular input in vMix. And an overview trigger would be, we want an overview shot if more than one person is talking at the same time. So we get to see everybody talking. The silence trigger basically is well, there it says, you can switch to a vMix output when there's silence for a certain number of seconds. So if everybody stops talking, we might switch to a wide shot so that we're not just focused in on somebody that's not talking and thinks maybe they're not on camera or something like that. They're doing something they shouldn't. And then a fixed time trigger just basically allows us to rotate through a certain number of shots based on a certain period of time. So having gone through that very basically, let's go up to the settings and bring in the control panel, because the control panel is really where a lot of the setup work is done. Right now we're using the audio source is NDI, and we've got the ability to use Blackmagic, Realtek, UMC, ASIO, which is actually on my system. I can use that one. Clear One, Convergence Pro 2, and Wheatstone Blade, which I don't have either one of the last 2. I could set it up for the UMC ASIO driver, and then I would have the ability to have all of my Behringer inputs, but in this case, I've routed pretty much everything through NDI so that we can get mics from different kinds of sources. So by doing this, let's just rescan again. And this is the list of all of what the virtual video director thinks is an audio input from NDI. So we've got a couple of cameras up here, and then we've got a bunch of things coming from ESB broadcast. That's my PC, and that's all the vMix outputs right there. And then we've got 3 more cameras down here at the bottom. So we're going to ignore the cameras top and bottom, and we're just going to bring in right now, we're going to bring in something called audio in 1, and then we're going to bring in something called audio microphone. And I'm going to cancel those because I think those are already set up here. Yeah, here they are right here. And so those are my desktop mic, which I've renamed desktop mic, and my Hollyland mic, which I've renamed Hollyland mic. And so those are there, and they don't show any activity right now, which means I may need to reset them because I've fooled around with it. So let's go in and let's set that one and say save. Okay, we've saved those. So let's come back here and see. Yeah, there we go. Now we're working with that one, and the Hollyland is working. Okay, so now we're back there. So now we need to set up some cameras that will be triggered by these microphones. And I have chosen, this camera, this shot, which I call the main shot. This is the main shot. And I have another shot here that I call the desktop shot. Not very creative with these names, but anyway. The main shot is shot number one, is input number one, and the desktop shot is, I don't know if you can see it right here, that's input number five. Oh, can you see? Yeah, I guess you can see it. You can see it in the camera. So let's go back here, and then let's go back here and set up some triggers. So the desktop mic is going to go to the desktop camera, and that's going to be number 5. And the Hollyland mic is going to go to the main shot, which is number 1. All right, so we've got those set up. Whoops. Looks like they were already working pretty quickly with the desktop mic sending us back to number 5. Let's go back to that shot for just a second. I want to bring this mic kind of down into view where you can see it. And so you can see if I talk into it or if I tap it. Actually, we should do it the other way around. Have this take us to the main shot so you can see it change. So let's do that. Let's go ahead and make this go to 1 and this go to 5. There we go. All right. So now, as we go back to that, if I'm going to put some audio on this mic, it's supposed to go to the main shot. What did we not do right? Let's go find out. All right, so this is the shot right there. We'll go to Settings, Control Panel, and we've got some settings in here. We're not going to worry about this section or this section. And in fact, let's go ahead and blow this back up so that we can see the whole thing. What we are going to look at is this section down here, the director personality, which basically tells us how quickly somebody's going to be changing from camera to camera. We've got all these cute little ways of looking at it. We've got a grandpa, which obviously is going to be pretty slow, a drunken sailor, professional director, a 15-year-old kid, and a crack baby. And we had it set up for 15-year-old. We had it set up for professional director, so let's leave it there. The realism simulator we're not going to work with here. And then the overview and the silence trigger, when two people are talking at the same time, we're going to have it go to camera. We'll make it go to the desktop. So that'll be there and show you the desktop. So that's there. Sensitivity is down pretty low. That's good. And when nobody's speaking, where shall we make it go? When nobody's speaking, we will go to, it's got to be in the top 32 inputs. Come on, Thomas, you're a smart kid. You can figure this out. We'll go to the desktop capture. We'll go to number 9. There we go. So we've got when two people talk at the same time, or when 2 or more mics are active, we'll go to input number 7. When there's silence, we'll go to input number 9. So let's go back to here. And you can see that the 7 and the 9 have now been set for us. And let's cut here. This is the desktop shot. Now it's working. There we go. So when I did this mic, let me bring the mic into the camera a little bit. By doing this mic right here, it allowed me to bring in this desktop shot. Now I'm going to put my hand right here so that we don't get any audio on that. There you go. And now it switched over to and now it switched back. And now, since 2 people were talking at the same time, we're going to have to slow this up a little bit. Let's slow this up just a tad, shall we? we're going to go to the Drunken Sailor. And we're also going to come over here to minimum duration. How long to wait before triggering another channel. We're going to bring that up to 2 seconds. There we go. That's 2 seconds. Okay. So that should slow down things just a little bit. If I tap here, that should take us back to the that should take us back to the main mic. After 2 seconds, 1001, 1002, 1003. Obviously, there's operator error here at this point. Let's see what I've got in my settings. Let's go back to Professional Director. And 2 seconds should be good there. What about now? Check 1, 2. Nope. Nope. Well, what about silence? Let's see what happens when we do silence. 6 seconds of silence. Ready? Didn't like that either. Well, let's get rid of this here. There we go. Maybe it doesn't do it while the settings are up. All right, so this is desktop mic. This is going to be the desktop shot. And if 2 people are talking at the same time, check 1, 2, check, 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 check. Come on, Mike, get up there in your volume. There we go. And then it's got the 2 people talking at the same time. Obviously, there's some volume checks that I haven't set up because I set this up just on the fly. So we would want to come in and tweak it based on each microphone's volume. It does appear that we're getting a little bit more audio reception out of this mic right here than we are this mic right here. And so we're staying with this shot because this mic is the dominant mic. And so we might want to turn up the gain on this guy a little bit. There we go. Or turn down the gain on the other mic, this mic. And let's see if the silence trigger will work. So here we go, silence. And there's the silence trigger working. So now we're back to the other one. So we're beginning to get it dialed in a little bit. I think you can get the feel for it. Let's go back to this interface for just a second. See if we can stay here. I'll put my hand up like this to keep less audio going to this, or I could just, we'll just shield that mic a little bit. You can see here, it will tell us the number of speakers. So right now it's just 1 speaker. When it gets to 2 speakers, it'll switch back to the desktop shot of vMix. The realism we're not using, so it's okay. And the fixed time we're not using, and the duration is set pretty low. Well, looks like it's set to 0. And then this other one is kind of interesting. This is a noise gate that we can set, that we can take out some of the noise in the room or other noise that might be on a line somewhere. And so we can set a noise gate so that noise doesn't accidentally trigger a microphone. The one right here tells us that we're on T1, the main shot. And we can trigger that one by clicking that. I can trigger 5 by clicking that. So we're going to 5, back to 1 here. Actually, no, 1 is this one. No, that one. There you go. So yeah, we're on number 9. And now we're back on number 1. So it moves pretty quickly. What else can I tell you? This is the Pro trial. Let's see if we can go back here for just a sec. There we go. This is the Pro trial. I'm not going to make it, am I? This is the Pro trial. This is the Pro trial. There we go. And it works beautifully, but like anything else, I'm trying to make it work with 1 speaker. if you have two speakers, or excuse me, guests or hosts or microphones. And in the case of the studio that I was working with yesterday, the host and the co-host were in two separate studios. They could see each other through glass, but that would be so their mics didn't bleed over into each other. So that was pretty interesting. And this would do well in that circumstance. Excuse me, goodness gracious. Let's go back into settings for just a second. Can we get over to that screen? And we'll go into settings, and I think it stops. Yeah, apparently it stops switching when you're in settings. That's good to know. Okay, so it's not doing a lot of different things. The sections that we've been dealing with have been the audio source, which was NDI, the director personality, which basically governs kind of how quickly you switch back and forth, and then the minimum duration, that is, how long does it stay on one shot before moving to another shot. We did not get into and we got into the overview silence cameras to say that when two people are talking at the same time, go to shot 7, and that they had to be doing it for at least 6 seconds. That's kind of low. Oh, I see. The sensitivity goes with two people talking at the same time, and then silence would be the aggressiveness. Or maybe I'm misunderstanding that. That's the thing about reviewing this software kind of on the fly, is that I guess it decided it wanted to change back. Test 1. So there we go. So it got tired of being on the control panel, and it said, let's go back to the main. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I'm pretty impressed with this stuff. Kudos to Noise Productions Inc. in New Zealand. And I have put a link in the description below to their website, in the text of the description. And then down below that, I put another link to the 30-day free trial. If you go to their website, and let me just show you their website for just a second. There we go. Let's cut to that. And I think while we're doing this, I'm going to just turn those off for a second. Let's see if we can just turn everything off. It'd be nice if there was a button to turn everything off. Excuse me. Goodness gracious. I need to have a sneeze button here. Okay, everything is turned off, so it should stay pretty well in its spot. So this is their website. Actually, this is the website where people in technology make events. But if we go to the software section, the virtual video director section, then we come down here and you can see, here we go. This is an example using Wheatstone with 16 different inputs. You could download now, but I recommend not using that button, because currently that button is for a little older version of the software. If you download here, the fully functional 30-day trial, that will give you version 5. This gives you version 4. This video was set at, I think, about 2 or 3 years ago, so that's probably not your best one. This one is about 2 years ago, in an actual situation where they've got 4 people in sort of a forum. But the most interesting one, and this is on YouTube, and if you just do a YouTube search for virtual video director, you'll bounce into all of this one. And this is one that was done, oh golly, I should pull out the name of the fellow that did it, but he is in Australia, and he did it with his children, and he mic'd up his kids and had the camera switch based on which child was talking. So, and he was using Dante. I don't know if you can see that in the text over here. He was using Dante. So lots of flexibility with this. This can be also used to trigger. Let's go back into the interface for just a second. into settings, control panel. This can be used to do lots of different vMix things. It can do some TriCaster things. It can do some Blackmagic ATEM things. And it will also hook into central control. Now we'll have to get Joe DeMax on here to tell us just how that central control function works, but that can be pretty cool. So yeah, pretty impressed with this software. I've known about it for a long time. I had some fun with the technician yesterday, the audio video tech at the radio TV station, kind of getting it set up for them. And once he got the basics, he just took off, and he was like, okay, well, I want to do this, this, and this, and he had it figured out faster than I did. So yeah, there you go. So pretty good stuff. Pretty good stuff. So yeah, there we go. That's the story. That's the story on this. If you have questions and you think I can help with questions, which may or may not be the case, you can go to our website, easternshorebroadcasting.com, and go to the Contact Us section and shoot me an email from there. We also represent vMix and PTZ Optics and Bird Dog and X Keys and others that we sell through our website. So if we can help you with any of that gear or build a custom PC for you, that's really what we do back here, is build the PCs for that use. So that's what we talk with folks about. So let's cut over to the post show, and we'll go through questions and see what comes up. We're going to press the other purple button. Here we go. Okay, here we go. We are back. We are back in the post show. So I just wanted you to know that Gunnar was not 100% listening today. So that's all right. That's all right. Well, other than Jeep and Dave, there are no questions. John asked the question, Caribbean Christian Broadcasting, can it give me a green room? And the answer is no. This is not a green room product. You can build a green room with vMix, and I've encouraged the vMix guys to consider a green room option in vMix 28. We'll see if that happens. The idea is that with the green room is that you're combining video sources along with their audio in a place where people can chat off air. A director can come in and chat off air with one or more of your guests, and then that person can be queued up and go on air through using the green room as sort of the from location to go to air. But this really doesn't impact the green room, because you don't want anything to happen automatically based on audio in a green room. Now, vMix does have the capability, and they introduced this as sort of an April Fool's joke several years ago, but it really is a feature in vMix, where you can voice activate what you want in vMix. So if I know that that John is sitting out there waiting for my vMix call, I can have a trigger set up that is listening to my audio, and when I say call John, it will initiate that vMix call, kind of like you can get in your car or with Siri on your phone. But that really wouldn't work into a green room situation. It would. And by the way, I did a video several years ago did a show on that new feature of voice commands, and it was a disaster because I didn't have it. It hadn't learned my voice yet. Apparently, I didn't have enough of an Australian accent to make it work. So it didn't work very well. Actually, it worked great. It was cut into all sorts of things, none of which were the things that I was anticipating it would cut to. But that's all right. That's all right. Xavier says, very interesting product. I agree. And you can get a download a trial. That in order to make that work, you probably want to figure out some different audio sources. And in my case, with this, to use this mic, which is not hooked up to my Behringer interface, and then to use this mic, which is hooked up to my Behringer interface, I had to route both these mics out as NDI sources so that I could use NDI in the virtual video director software. So that's a tip that will save you a lot of heartache. You can set up. I've got some audio files that I use, the bumper music that we had with the intro and the outro. I can use that as an audio source by, again, identifying that input and making it an output under NDI, and then I can bring it into Virtual Video Director and turn that volume up and down as I need to in order to make it change cameras. A thought just collided with my mouth there. That one thing in the Virtual Video Director that I've noticed is that, and let me pull up the interface here real quickly here, just a second. Virtual Video, did I take the whole thing out? Oh no, I made it go away. Didn't mean to do that. Let's bring it out real quick. And where is it? There it is. There it is. Okay. All right, so let's switch over to that real quickly. And one of the things I noticed about the audio channels, the two mic channels, is any adjustment that I made in vMix did not affect these channels here. So I'm going to turn off the audio for the desktop mic, and I'm going to draw it all the way down. But as you can see, it's still active in this input number one. It is reading it from NDI, and vMix is continuing to send it out to NDI, even though it's not active in vMix. Same thing for the Hollyland mic. I can turn that off. I can't turn it off now because you wouldn't be able to hear me, but I could turn it off and it would still register audio right here. So there's no way to sort of disable those, or to, let's say you've got two hosts, or a host, a co-host, and a guest, and you've got the host and the co-host on there, and you want the guest's mic muted. There may be a way to mute it in Wheatstone or something else like that, but with the setup I'm using under NDI, I couldn't mute the mic. I would just have to turn off the trigger right here so that it didn't get activated. And I'm sure they're working on those kinds of things. So yeah, there is that, again, that limitation of your audio sources can't be controlled in the software. They'd have to be controlled. So yes, it's NDI pre-fader. Yep. Not only is it NDI pre-fader, but it's NDI non-mute. So, I mean, I know you can mute a channel pre-fader, but in this case, you can't, not with this. And welcome to Chris Morton. And it is one of your countrymen that wrote this software. So, yeah, there we go. Pre-fader, pre-mute. But once you know then you can plan around it. It's that as I was playing with it today, and all of a sudden I was going, I've turned this mic all the way off, and it's still switching to that camera. And then I figured out, that's okay. That's okay. There we go. And yeah, having a kill button would make it. And it's just a matter of, generally you want all your like stuff in one place. So if I've got all my audio that I'm working with in vMix, I would like to be able to turn it off in vMix. But in this case, I had to go turn the trigger off, and it would have been nice if I had a shortcut to do that, a button that would allow me, and there is an API for this software, so there probably is a way to do that. And that's where central control probably comes in. So yeah. So Chris, the name of the outfit is Noise Productions. It's either production or productions. Let's get it right. Noise Productions, plural, Noise Productions Limited. And they are in, where are they? They are in Masterton, and then a community called Solway. So yeah, if you want to see where they are on the map, they're right there. How about that? Don't know where that is. Haven't ever been there, but maybe one day I will. And if I did, Chris, I would expect, of course, to meet you there. Yeah. So there we go. That's the software. That's the software. Oh, Chris, the other thing I mentioned earlier was that in 2 days will be our 12th anniversary of our very first show. Back then it was called That Vid Blaster Guy. And Amnon Nissan was my very first guest 12 years ago. So we probably should have him on next week to celebrate. That would be fun. I'll talk to him about it if he's free. And yeah. Oh, you know him. That's good. Well, maybe what's the population of New Zealand? Let's find out quickly. Pop of New Zealand is 5 million. So sure, you should know him. There are only 5 million people there. That was in 2022, but it might be more than that now. Oh, yeah, there we go. 5 mil. Yes, indeed. 12 years. Congratulations. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. All right, well, we're going to wean away from you guys now, as much as I hate to, but I've got some folks I need to chat with, and we're going to start, not next week. Well, we might see if we can get Amnon on next week. That would be a great way to start our live streaming All-Stars series, and we'll talk more about that. If you follow us on Facebook in the Streaming Idiots group, you can kind of keep up with what's going on a day-to-day basis, if there's anything going on a day-to-day basis. That's where it would show up. And yeah. So Chris, if you happen to run into to Toby, give him a shout out and tell him that we reviewed his software very basically and very poorly. But we are using it professionally and having a lot of fun with it. That's the story right there. That's the story right there. So, with no further ado, I'm going to tell you guys so long. Have a great week, and I'll see you next week.